Have you ever noticed how one small number can completely change how you breathe, sleep, and think about money? Saving your first $1,000 will change your life more than saving your first $100,000. That sounds crazy, especially if you're stressed, behind, or feel like $1,000 is basically impossible right now. But if you stay with me, I'll show you why this single milestone flips a switch in your brain, your confidence, and your future. And if you've ever felt broke, anxious, or one bad bill away from panic, you're not alone. Most people never hear this. $1,000 isn't about the money, it's about control. As Dave Ramsey explains in the Total Money Makeover, having a small emergency fund is the foundation that makes every other financial goal possible. Most people think wealth starts when you invest, when you make more, or when you hit some huge number. But the truth is, wealth starts the moment you're no longer terrified of a $400 emergency. Right now, if your car breaks down, a bill shows up, or your hours get cut,
it's like an oil leak.
It probably feels like the floor drops out from under you. And this is the part no one warns you about. That feeling keeps you stuck. Because when you're desperate, you make desperate decisions. And in this video, I want to show you why $1,000 breaks that cycle, how it quietly puts you ahead of most people, and why missing this step makes every other financial goal harder. And if you click away now, you'll miss the one mindset shift that makes the rest of this series work. Let me ask you something honest. How often do you check your bank account before you even open an email or answer a call? How often do you feel that knot in your stomach when money comes up? That constant low-level stress isn't because you're bad with money. It's because you don't have margin. I've been there. I remember staring at my account, doing mental math, hoping nothing went wrong before the next paycheck. And I've watched people just like you go from that exact spot to calm, confident, and in control. Not because they suddenly made six figures, but because they saved their first $1,000. As Morgan Housel notes in The Psychology of Money, building small wins like this changes your behavior more than the largest financial strategies ever will. Today, I'm going to walk you through a simple plan. First, why $1,000 matters more than you think. Second, what actually changes when you hit it. Third, how to save it faster than you believe is possible. And by the end, you'll see why this step sets up the next 3 milestones in this series. Section 1. Why $1,000 is the real starting line. Most financial advice jumps straight to investing, side hustles, or passive income. But that advice skips the foundation. $1,000 is your financial airbag. An airbag doesn't make the car fast. It just saves you when something goes wrong. And life always goes wrong. Without $1,000 saved, every problem becomes an emergency. With $1,000 saved, emergencies become inconveniences. That difference is everything. You stop borrowing, panicking, feeling ashamed. And for the first time, you feel like you're not drowning. As Dave Ramsey emphasizes, this is the very first step in taking control of your money, the baby emergency fund. I remember the moment I realized how fragile my finances were. When I was in college, I drove a beat-up 1986 Toyota pickup. It was more rust-colored than anything else. One weekend, when I was away back home for college, some friends and I were out riding our four-wheelers. On my way home, I was in a hurry and went to pass a car that was moving slowly. And without using their turn signal, the lady turned left right in front of me as I was passing her. I T-boned her car right in the driver's side. The accident was her fault and nobody was hurt, but my truck was damaged to the point where it couldn't be driven 2.5 hours to college the next day. My brother-in-law, James, helped me use a tractor. We bent the twisted sheet metal away from the tire enough to drive it back to school. If the damage was more severe, I wouldn't have had a vehicle to be able to get back to college. I got lucky, but I was one accident away from what could have been financial ruin for a starving college student. And as Housel points out, luck and small margins often determine financial outcomes more than skill alone. Section 2. The psychological shift no one talks about. Saving $1,000 changes how you see yourself. You stop saying,
"I'm bad with money."
You start saying,
"I'm someone who saves."
That identity shift is powerful because behavior follows identity. When you believe you're capable, you act differently. You pause before spending. You think longer term. You feel pride instead of guilt. And that confidence spills into everything. Your work, relationships, decisions. This is why $1,000 matters more than you think. Section 3. Why most people never reach this point. Most people never save $1,000. Not because they can't, but because they don't think it's worth it. They think it's too small to matter. So they stay stuck in reaction mode. Paycheck to paycheck, stress to stress. If you save $1,000, you instantly separate yourself from the majority. Not because you're rich, but because you're prepared. And preparation is rare. In a minute, I'm going to show you the fastest way to hit $1,000 without feeling deprived. But first, you need to understand what actually changes once you get there. Section 4. What changes the moment you hit $1,000? You sleep differently. You breathe differently. You stop obsessively checking your balance. You stop living in fear of small problems. You gain options. And options equal freedom. Freedom to say no, to wait, to think. That's why $1,000 is the real turning point. As Ramsey stresses, this is where financial stress begins to fade. Section 5. The simple plan to save your first $1,000. This isn't complicated, but it does require honesty. Here's the plan. Step 1. Stop trying to be perfect. You don't need to optimize everything. You just need progress. Step 2. Create a simple savings account. Out of sight reduces temptation. Simple beats fancy. Step 3. Automate small amounts. Even $10 or $25 adds momentum. Momentum builds belief. Step 4. Find one temporary sacrifice. Not forever, just until you hit $1,000. That could be eating out less, pausing subscriptions, or selling something on Marketplace. Short-term discomfort for long-term relief. As Ramsey recommends, treat this as your baby emergency fund, and then celebrate progress. If this is already helping you think differently, like this video, subscribe to Building Success, and share it with someone who's stressed about money. And comment below, what is your current savings goal? This helps the channel grow and keeps this series coming. Section 6. Why $1,000 unlocks the next levels. This is part 1 of a 4-part journey. $1,000 teaches you control. $10,000 teaches you discipline. $100,000 teaches you patience. $1 million teaches you leverage. But none of those work without the first step. If you skip $1,000, the rest collapse. That's why we start here. House will emphasize that small wins compound not just your money, but your confidence and habits, setting the stage for bigger milestones. And in the next video, I'll show you why $10,000 changes how the world treats you, and it's not what most people think. If you're watching this and thinking,
That's not me.
you're wrong. You can do this. You don't need more income right now. You need a win. $1,000 is that win. It's proof that you're capable. Proof you're moving forward. Proof that your story is changing. Let's recap. Today, I showed you why $1,000 matters more than you think. Why it changes your mindset before it changes your bank account. Why it breaks the cycle of stress and panic. And how it sets up every future milestone. This is where success starts. Quick question for you. When was the last time your vehicle stressed you out more than it helped you? And what if I told you selling it could actually move your life forward faster? I sold my truck recently, and I'm not replacing it. And that decision is saving us money, time, and mental energy every single month. If you're tired of car payments, fuel costs, repairs, and that constant feeling of being locked in, this video is for you. My name is Stephen Kofer. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate your support.